Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're looking at a camera. I don't know, I guess most people would call it an action camera. It's very similar to my DJI action cam little camera here. This I've had for quite a long time now. I use it quite a bit. Really nice little camera, and I like it because it's so easy to set up. You've got your big screen on the back and you've got your little screen on the front. So just double tap that. So you've got your little screen on the front there, and I really like that. But I was looking at other action cameras. I'm not an action person, as you can probably guess by the sort of reviews what I do, but I do like my action cams. They are useful for many different applications, but I've been looking at 360 cameras and I haven't found the quality very good. I did have an Insta 360, the original Insta 360, didn't find the quality was very good. I thought being that it was 4K would be fine, but I got confused because on a flat image that you would see on your TV, 4K is great. Because 4K is a 360 image, it requires a lot more pixels, so it isn't really 4K. But I came across this camera, well, it's all in bits at the moment. I came across this camera, which is the Insta 360 1R. Now, the reason why it's all in bits, we need to put it together because it's a modular system, and you can get 3 different modules for it at the moment. I'm sure as time goes by there'll be more modules. So the one I got was the twin edition, which is basically the 360 module and the 4K module, and then I bought separately the 1-inch edition, which is the box here, the 1-inch edition, which is here, which is a Leica lens and a 360 innards. And so you basically have one brain, which is not there, which is here. This is the brain of the system. So as I said, it's all modular. Look how tiny that is, and I'll show you what you do with it. So that's the brain of it, and then you can connect the other 3 cameras to it. Now that sounds great, and actually in principle it is great once you get your head around some of the little quirks. So let's now start putting it together. So what you do, you choose what you want to use. So let's use the 360 module first. So you've got basically one lens on each side, which creates your 360 image. There's your contacts. So you use those contacts which obviously match up with the contacts on this module, and then all you do, you simply join the 2 together, and then you have your 360 module, and with the screen you can turn it, set it either way. But of course with the 360 one, it doesn't matter what side you have it because it's a 360 camera, it'll work either side. But if you put the let's say the 4K module on, so that's the 4K module, so same thing, just connect it like that, and hey presto, you have a 4K module. So you can either have it set so the screen is facing the same side as the camera, as you can see there. So if you're doing vlogging or you want to look at the camera, you can see the screen, or you can turn it around just by doing that, and then you have the screen facing faces the back, which is great if you're behind the camera. So that's what I like about this system. Very modular, very adaptable. Then all you then do is put the battery on to match up the contacts. So you've got contacts on the base there, and then contacts on the battery, and then all you do, you just match the 2 together, which is a bit awkward when I'm trying to demonstrate it, but it does actually really go. I'm doing it the wrong way round. So that just clips into there like so. So now you have it all joined together. So you've got your modular system, that's all joined together with a battery on the bottom. Turn it on at the top, so you've got your on-off switch, just the 2 buttons on it, on-off switch on the top there, and your record button. So turn it on the top, and it will make a pinging noise if the battery's charged, which it should be. There we go. And then now that'll boot into life, and it comes up with the screen, and there you go. And it is completely touchscreen, so you swipe up to get to your settings and you swipe across to other settings, etc, etc. Very much like the GoPros and the DJI Osmo Action. I mean, the Osmo Action, as I said, has got two screens. It's got a really big screen on the back and a smaller screen on the front. They haven't done this with this. It is a really small screen. You can, you know, when you're vlogging or seeing yourself, you can just see, you know, you can see it enough to be able to see what you're doing. I do find with my big fingers, I find it a little bit awkward getting to all the different functions. It's not, you know, it can be a bit fiddly, but once you get your head around it, it's actually not too bad. There's no SD card in here at the moment, so it's flashing a blue light telling me that there's no SD card in the camera. But that's how the modular system works basically. You swap out one module, swap another one in. It does all flavours of HD, 4K, 4K 60p with the 4K module, and many other video flavours. It takes photographs, 19 megapixel stills, so it is quite a versatile piece of kit. And I will show you some video clips. I'm going to show you in just a moment. I'm going to show you three video clips that I've done. One with the 360 module, which is this one. One as the 360 module. One with the 4K module that I've got in it, and the other one with the 1-inch module. And you'll see, you know, the difference in quality. The 1-inch module is definitely the better one. It would be, because it's a 1-inch sensor. It's the same size sensor you'll find in the Sony ZV-1 and, you know, quite a few other cameras. So you will get a better image from it. But because it's a fixed focus lens, it doesn't focus close. So it's not an ideal module for vlogging. If you want to do vlogging, you're best off using the 4K module that it comes with. But the great thing with this piece of kit is when you put the 360 module in, so let's just take that apart again. You take that apart like that. That comes off. So what we do now, we connect the brains, the main unit, to the 360 module. It goes in the one way, because obviously, because it's 360, the camera doesn't need to go in both ways. You see, that is the wrong way, because those pins haven't matched up with the holes that the battery clips into. So turn it around and make sure it goes in that way, so the pins for the battery and the holes for the battery to connect to it are on it. And then you get your battery and you literally just connect it to it. Job's done, and there you go. So that is now the 360 module set up, ready for filming. Turn it on, makes a double beep, and then you can see there it's come on, but it's warning me there's no SD card in there, which is quite right, because there isn't an SD card in there. And that's now ready for filming. But the great thing with this one for 360 work, it does it in 5.3K and not 4K. Now that extra megapixels, those extra pixels, are great for editing, because you're only choosing a small section of the 360 angle. But the great thing in the edit, if we look, I've just loaded something up here. This is what I filmed yesterday. Now we've just been through that. So that's the, dare I say, like the front angle, although there isn't a front angle because it's 360. So when you come to edit it, it's great. You use the 360 software. The recording format that this records in for the 360 is an Insta 360 proprietary, but I can never say that word. It's specific to Insta 360. So you need to download the Insta 360 Studio software. It's a free download, you don't pay for it, and it's for Mac and PC and for your mobile phone. So download that, and then you can put the 360 clips into that software, and there's lots of things you can do with it. It's wicked. It is really good. So that's basically that angle. And what you can do, you can use these keyframes to choose which part of that image that you want to copy over for your final video. So if you're creating like a flat video and you're not creating a 360-degree video, you can choose which one you want to output. So let's say it's that angle I want to output. That's great. Let's mute that sound. We don't need the sound. So we can use that angle, and that's great. I think, right, okay, I'll output that. That'd be one video clip. If you're doing a multi-cam clip, that'd be one clip. And you think, okay, what I'll do now, I want to actually show me talking to the camera. So you can actually then go back to that. You can cut it in a bit tighter if you want to. As I say, because it's 5.3K, you've got the resolution there to be able to zoom in, not a lot, but just a little bit, and also choose which aspects of that 360 that you want. And this is why I'm excited about filming in 360, because I can then choose in the edit what angle I want to use. And you only got one camera, and it's only one little camera. Absolutely wicked, and I love that. So now we can choose that angle. The other thing that you can do is, so if we do that, you can actually choose a key, you can track it. So I can set this to track my face, and it'll always keep my face in the frame. So you just click on tracking, so click on that, so you highlight what you want to track, so there's a yellow box around my face, and then you just click on start tracking. It works beautiful, and I'll show you that clip with it tracked, so you can actually see that it has done it and it's kept me in the frame, even though because what happens is the monitor goes off once you start filming. You might be able to set that in the settings, but it doesn't matter if you can't see yourself when you're vlogging, because you just use the tracking and it will track you. Great, you know, piece of kit. So here we are taking a look at the Insta 361R. And I've got the 360-degree module in. It's a modular system, as I said earlier, and it's great because you can swap out different modules, keep the same camera or the same sort of brains, as it were, which has got the monitor built in, and then you can plug in different modules. It's meant to be weatherproofed, which is hopeful because it is raining. But the one thing that really excites me about it, if it is as successful as I hope it will be, with the 360 ones, I can actually, in the edit, choose what angle I want. It's a nice lightweight camera. I've got it on its stick, it's a selfie stick. It's only a little stick, it was 15 quid, so it's quite expensive for just a tiny little stick, but hopefully I don't need to hold it too far away. I can hold it here, which is great. And the other thing is the monitor goes off part way, you know, once you start filming. That's to conserve battery, of course, you know, but I guess being that it's 360, you don't have to worry about framing so much, because it's going to be in frame, isn't it? And it's getting thoroughly wet because it's raining. It's not heavy rain, it's more of a light, it's quite heavy to be honest, and not very pleasant, but as it's weather sealed, I thought I'd give it a try. So that's the 360 module. Then there is the 4K module, which is again very modular. That's why it's called a module. Again, exactly the same principle. The difference with this one, you can set this up either way round. So if we plug that in to there, he says, like so. So that's now plugged into there, and at the moment the monitor is facing the camera. The monitor's on the same side as the camera. So if you vlog in, as I said earlier, do it like that. Or you can connect it the other way round. So the monitor is now facing the back of the camera. So again, you just match up the pins to the little holes just to make sure you get that right. So you get your battery, big old battery like that. Slot that in there. Battery lasts for about 45 minutes to an hour, so it's not too bad, you know. And you do that, and then that is, you know, the that's that set up. And now that's great. So that's a 4K module. Films in 4K, doesn't do 5.3K like the 360 module does. It does 4K, and that's great for flat video because it isn't a 360 one. It's only a flat one. So that's great if you're vlogging or you're using it as an action cam. It's got great steady shot. I don't know what they call it, flow steady, something like that. And it's great. Works absolutely fine. So I'm not going to go into great detail what this camera does. We all know it's an action cam. So once you've got this all connected together, you then have to put it in its cage because there is no screw thread at the bottom here. It would have been ideal if Insta360 had somehow, I don't know how they would have done it, but put a hole in the bottom here with a thread to be able to mount it directly to a tripod or tripod plate. No, you can't do that. You have to put it in its cage. It comes with this cage, it is supplied with it, but you have to physically put it in this cage, match up obviously where the holes go. That goes into there, and then once you've got that in there, then that's now caged up, ready to put onto a tripod. And at least they have put a screw thread at the bottom of the GoPro style lug thing, but that's a pain in the butt. Honestly, it really is a pain in the butt because these batteries only last for about 45 minutes. You've then got to take it all apart just to change the battery. And I find that so frustrating. I do find that annoying. And the other thing that I find annoying, let's take it apart again. So this is where it gets a real pain, is taking it apart every 5 minutes. And it could well be a deal breaker because it is annoying. What I've done, I've modified, I've got knocking around here somewhere, yeah, one of these sort of spring-loaded things that you get to mount a mobile phone on a tripod. Well, I haven't modified that. I'm using that, so I can just stretch that across there like so, and that's got a hole in the bottom, and then I can mount that on the tripod, mount that on the tripod, which means I haven't got to put it in its cage, because that makes a lot of sense to me. But the other thing that is a real pain in the butt, in fact I've lost it, it's such a pain in the butt, and which means it isn't waterproof now, because this is apparently waterproof without having to put it in. It's got to go in its cage, but it's actually, I'm not sure it has got to go in its cage, but no, it has. Yeah, it is waterproof as long as it's all connected together. Now I have tried it out in the rain. You'll see my video clips, I filmed it out in the rain, but it's got this on the side here. There was a little flap that covered these connections, and it's a real pain in the butt. Dreadful design, dreadful, shocking design, and I've pulled it out deliberately because it was getting on my nerves, and I'm not sure where it's gone, so I obviously haven't made that waterproof now. I do hope if they carry on with this format, is to redesign the side, and I'm not the only person who's complained about that. Now, although the battery is only 45 minutes to an hour long, you can run it off a USB power block. So if you are using it in a fixed location, I would recommend that you do that, because obviously you can record for longer times. You can buy an extended battery which has got the sort of tripod connection on. I haven't got that, I've just got the run-of-the-mill standard battery that it came with. So that is the 4K module. And then I got so you'll see a video clip of the 4K module that I filmed in the garden earlier. I've now put the 4K mod in, and I've got the monitor facing me. This is great with this modular system because you can turn the monitor around facing whichever way you like. And I'm just walking down the garden path. I've got it in basic mode, which sets it to apparently MP4, and also it creates it's standard stabilization, so I don't know how good that'll be. Again, I'm using the internal mic, but I'm also recording externally with this microphone I got on my jacket. So it's piddling down with rain, so I don't know how long I'm going to be stood out here doing this. Now this isn't the 360 mod, so obviously the camera's only facing me. What you see is just, well, the image is just this image. So but again, that could be really good. Now the thing is, the monitor does go off when you're recording. I might be able to set that in the settings to be on for longer, but it will drain the battery for longer. but I think it's a wide enough image to make sure that I'm in shot, so we won't know till I look at it on the computer. But yeah, that's for 4K mod. 4K should be more than adequate quality for YouTube videos and for my content, but I do have the 1-inch mod, which I shall put in next. Now that's great, but apparently not very good for vlogging because it's not close focus, so we shall have to see about that. This is the better mod for vlogging because it does focus tighter up, but the 1-inch mod will give better quality because it's a 1-inch sensor basically, so the image quality will be better, or should be better. I know in the software is great because you can set ultra wide, wide, linear, or a tighter shot. I don't know if you can with this 4K mod. I doubt it because it's only shooting in 4K. The 1-inch mod shoots in 5.7K, so that is awesome. So yeah, that's the vlogging with the 4K module in this particular Insta360 setup. And so I do like its modular system. You can take the modules out, but it's a little bit fiddly. But let's now get back into the dry, and then I'm going to swap this out for the 1-inch mod. So that was the 4K module. I then purchased separately, so I bought that as the twin edition. They call it a twin edition, which is the 4K module and the 360 module, obviously with the brains of it. And then I bought the Leica 1-inch module, which is beautiful, and that films in 5.3K, so it's a higher resolution and it's 1-inch, so that is phenomenal. That is really, really good. And again, this can be mounted either way, so we'll do it that way. That just connects like so, and then you have to put the battery on it. It's all the same way it goes. That just clips into the bottom like it does on the other modules. So that's now clipped in, and that's great. It's a little bit fatter. You can kind of see maybe that's a little bit fatter, that module. Sorry, the camera is a bit fatter. It's a 1-inch one. It's a bit fatter than the others, but and it's got this big lens on the front, which is really nifty. But the image quality is lovely, and it's better with this than it would be with my little well, not my GoPro. I've got a GoPro, my DJI action cam, because that's a smaller sensor in there. 5.3K, so you get really good image quality, image stabilized as well. But again, you've got the same issues, but you can't just mount it straight to a tripod or to a selfie stick. You've got to take it, not only have you got to you know, it's fiddly, you've got to take this lens off as well. So you've got to unscrew this this lens to be able to fit it into the cage. And again, I've got this round the wrong way. No, I haven't. That goes, dear me, this is so fiddly. That goes into there like so, and then that will fit on the back like that, and that just locks down. And then you've got a watertight cage, but then you've got to screw the lens back on the front, so hopefully you don't scratch your lenses or get dust in them while you're taking it off and on, but then that will just screw on the front there. But then you have your 1-inch module, and again, now you can screw that tripod thread on the bottom there. You can screw that directly, you know, onto a selfie stick, or put it onto a tripod or whatever. So we're now using the 1-inch module with the Insta360 1R. I did say earlier actually it films in 5.7K. It's a correction on that. It's 5.3K. I just noticed. So it's not quite 5.7K. But now apparently this won't focus that close for vlogging. It's a fixed lens, but it doesn't focus close. So this may not come out any good. It might be a bit soft. But you know, it'd be interesting to see. So and also I'm holding it at arm's length just to, you know, ensure I do get some sort of sharp focus, hopefully some sharp focus. Now, I'm using the internal microphone, but I'm also, again, as I said earlier, using the external mic, with its standard stabilization. Now the beauty with the 1-inch sensor, or this module that has the 1-inch sensor, it's a Leica designed lens, so the image quality will be good. I'm going to do a comparison with my little ZV-1, my Sony ZV-1. That's got a 1-inch sensor, so it will be very curious to see, you know, the image quality difference between this and the Sony ZV-1. If you'd like me to do that comparison, let me know in the comments below. Although it is likely that I will do it, I think it's sensible to. Whereas ZV-1 hasn't got a fixed lens, it's got a proper Zeiss focusing lens. So there we go, change modes. God, this vlogging lark, dear me. Yeah, so that's the 1-inch mod. Very fiddly to get in and out and set it up, but once you've got it set up, you're good to go. And as I said, the beauty with this system, you've got one brains and 3 different cameras, so I think it's got a lot going for it. But there's a few things that I have said in the review, and I will say, you know, later on in this review, the downsides to this modular system. So there we go. That's the Leica 1-inch module fitted to the Insta 360 1R as a vlogging kit. So there we go. Yeah, that's the 1-inch module. Great image quality and a great design. I really do like it, but as I say, it's still fiddly. It's fiddly. The monitor's fiddly because my fingers are so bulky. But as I say, it's one of those things you get used to. And once you've got your settings set, it's not too much of an issue really. Just remember, when you turn it on, I found this the other day actually, I'm always finding this, when you turn it on, it seems to default to photo mode. Yeah, it's defaulted, well, sent to me there's no SD card, that's fair enough, but it's defaulted to photo mode, so you've got to remember to swipe up to go into, there's a setting for video, just make sure you set it to video, and there we go, it's come up to video, and you're ready to film video. The other thing, it took me a while to figure out because it defaulted to 30 frames a second. Well, I'm here in the UK, it will do 24 frames a second as well, but I didn't want 30 or 24, I wanted 25. And I couldn't figure out how to do it, but it is literally, you just do tap the bottom right hand corner, monitor's gone off, there we go, after a few seconds, but you just tap the bottom right hand corner and then that'll bring up your frame rate and you select 25, 30 or 24. So again, as with all kit, it's just getting used to it, isn't it? But yeah, it's great, and the software is great, and connecting it to your mobile phone is straightforward. It's a bit of a palaver at first. I have found it works much better with my iPhone. I've got an iPhone 10 here. It works much better with my iPhone than it does with my Android phone. Don't know if it's my phone or what, I couldn't get it to talk to it, but I got it to talk to me Android, me iPhone beautifully. I don't really use the app, to be honest. I have used it in here when I'm setting up for filming, and I just want to check the angle, you know, just to see, rather than squinting at a tiny little monitor from a distance, I've used the phone. So it's been great for that, but I don't use it for its effects. The other thing, which is a completely separate video really, is there's loads and loads of effects that you can do with this particular Insta360 using the app. More for using the mobile phone app, you can do all sorts of effects, but I need to do that in a separate video. But what you can do with the video on your computer is great, as you saw. You know, it's not an editing piece of software per se. It is only for editing the Insta stuff, whether it be the 360 or, you know, even the 4K stuff that comes out using the 4K module, or certainly the 1-inch module. You can select with a 1-inch module in the app, you can select whether you want the field of view to be wide, ultra wide, or where they call it linear, which is basically a tighter shot, and that's using the 1-inch module, and that's great. And then you just output it as a MP4, so that's brilliant. But it will record as an MP4 file with the 1-inch module, so you don't need to go into the app. But then you're fixed at the, I think it's just the wide setting you're fixed with, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, very, very flexible piece of kit. But the two major faults really is this wretched flap on the side here, which I think is an awful design, and the fact it's so much, just to change a battery, you have to take everything apart just to get to the battery. I just think that Insta360 have got something wrong there. I don't think that's, I mean, it's not a big ball ache, but it is a ball ache. If you're doing a lot of 360 stuff, or you're doing a lot of GoPro type filming, then I could see that be a real ball ache. But I still love it. I'm loving what I can do with the 360 module. But the fact that I can go out using one camera to film all the different angles that I need, and then choose when I come back to the studio which angle I want to use in the video. And it don't take too long to export them. It is an extra process involved. You can't just bring it back to your computer, put it straight in and start editing. You've got to go into the 360 software, create the, what you want to create with it, and then output it. It does slow your workflow down, but it's not real, it's not horrendous. And I think for the benefit it creates is going to be well worth it. But yeah, tiny little module that, isn't it? Obviously useless without its brains, but yeah, that's the Insta360. I don't think there's much else I can say about it really, not at the moment anyway. It is confusing when you're looking at buying it, because when I went on to Wex Photographic, which is where I purchased this from, I buy most of my stuff from Wex Photographic because and Amazon, because they're such a good company. I'll put a link in the description below to where you can get it from Wex, but it gets quite confusing because it's got Insta360 1R, Insta360 1R Twin Edition, module this and module something else, and I got really confused. So I just ended up buying the Twin Edition, and my brain started to calculate what it all means then, because the 1-inch edition, which is this here, is sold as a separate entity. But there we go, and there's all sorts of accessories you can buy for it. I've bought a twin charger, an extra battery, what have you. So there we go. Hope you found that useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Really helps me grow the channel, and I really appreciate everyone who has subscribed so far. And I love the comments that people are leaving, and they're really positive comments, and that does encourage me to produce more content as well. So once again, very many thanks for that, and stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography. Thanks very much. See you again soon. Bye.